Hey guys, what is up? It has been a very long time since I posted on the channel. I have been doing a ton of shit and really haven't had any time for posting, recording, anything like that. As you could probably see, I do have the motor out of the car and it is fully broken down. I have everything apart, just laying all over the place, but it is actually ready to go back together today. I have all my parts everything came in the mail that I needed. I was waiting on some hoses and stuff for some things, but let me give you a quick rundown on why the engine is out and why it's all apart. I was finishing up my turbo kit, as you guys remember. So I got the turbo kit done. So this is the new manifold that I made. It actually turned out really good. It fits in the car perfectly. It's all divided, so each individual runner is separated. So I have it set up now as a single wastegate, but I can do duals with a divided flange if I want to in the future. And I actually got a little bit smaller turbo. This is a 61, 62 or something like that. The big one was having issues spooling once I got the kit on there. But once I got everything running, it was ripping. I was getting like 30 PSI. The car was running perfect. I was just about to make a video. I was doing my test passes up and down on the highway. And then the very last pass on the way back, I started getting a knocking sound and I had actually spun a bearing. So the cylinder number 1 bearing had spun and caused a bunch of issues. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if you guys remember a while back, I was running the car and I was on my way home and it overheated. And I thought everything was fine. I just needed to change out the head gasket. There was a tiny bit of metal flakes in the oil, but I thought that was just from the breakdown before when we had rebuilt the engine and maybe I didn't clean it well enough. But it actually turns out that it was the a little bit of copper material from the piston number 1. So once I started getting power through the car and I was making a lot of boost, I was putting a lot more pressure on the bearings, and I'm pretty sure number 1 was messed up from when the car overheated and it just ended up going out. So I got a new set of bearings. So that's number 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down. I actually took the girdle plate off as well and replaced the main journal bearings. So those are all brand new. I just have to get the seals on both sides and then make some adjustments to these ARP studs. So I ended up going with ARP, but they don't make one that is specific to this engine. So I have to do some modifications to the top of the bolt to get them to fit. So that's the plan today, is to get those bolts modified, put my RTV all the way around and get the girdle plate set in there, torqued down. And then I'm gonna start putting everything back together. And I should have the car up and running in a few days. Well, all this only took me probably a day and a half to take out and take apart. The cleaning probably took a day to get everything cleaned. I cleaned out the oil pan, the pump. All the parts are washed in the parts washer, so everything is really cleaned and ready to go back together. I've got new hoses and stuff for the oil. I reran. Show you here. So originally this is the coolant in and out. This was like sticking out this way and this one was curved and coming out this way, and I had to run the lines through my turbo manifold and they're just getting too hot, so I heated this up and bent it back so I can run the coolant lines to the turbo along the inside of the engine instead of straight through the manifold. And then I got another hose here for the oil feed. So I just have to figure out how to get this to connect to that without any issues. And then that's going to go to the top of the turbo. It's a little bit cleaner. It's all one piece instead of having this this clunky setup over here. I had 2 pieces kind of stuck together on this this one piece here. So replacing that with an actual oil feed line for a turbo, and then I have all my ARP studs, cleaned the oil filter or oil pump. This is all cleaned as well. I took everything out to the pressure washer. I used about a case of brake clean to get everything cleaned up. Yeah, so I'm gonna be working on today. I'm not really gonna show you guys any time lapse. I know that's boring, so I'm just gonna get the engine back together and I'll kind of catch up with you guys there. It might be a couple days. I don't know how much time I'm gonna be out here today, but that's the plan. Just get it back together, get it in the car, and see how it runs. So. Alright guys, so it is the next day after I showed you the engine. I actually got everything back in. Got all the fluids topped up. I just put the gear oil in. I've got 5.5 quarts of oil. I'm probably gonna put the rest to just make it an even 6. Filled up the coolant, and I haven't started it yet. I had the injectors unplugged. I just plugged them back in. I cranked it over a few times to make sure we have oil pressure, and we're good there. So I think I'm ready for the first start. This is going to be after rebuilding the engine again for the second time, putting all new bearings. The only thing I haven't done yet is put my downpipe on. As you can see, it's not connected, but that's the very last thing I need to do to get this thing running all the way. So yeah, let me stick you guys up on a stand, and then I'm gonna start this up, and hopefully it runs good. All right, so this is first start after rebuilding the engine. All right, car started right up. That was probably the best first start I've ever had. That one was pretty quick. Everything sounds good, engine sounds good. I'm gonna top off the coolant. Okay. All right, well, that's pretty much it. Got a lot of moisture coming out of the exhaust. I need to run that all the way through, get all that all the water out of the pipes and stuff, let it get hot. But I'm going to connect the downpipe here and get it off the jack stands, and then try to take it for a drive. I'm going to take it real slow for the first couple 100 miles, just to make sure we don't screw anything up. I want to make sure that everything gets heat cycled properly and the bearings get seated in and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna do that and then get her off the jack stands. Well, I'm gonna put the exhaust, the downpipe back on. I'm gonna pull it off the jack stands, and then we'll go for a quick ride.